Okay, welcome to WROL today.
Wait, I haven't unmuted you yet. 1 second. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, let's try this again. So everybody, welcome to this month's tier list. We are so incredibly excited to be able to get together with everybody. So for those of you guys watching live, thank you guys so much for jumping on and hanging out with us today. And I think we might have a cool little thing where we're going to pull somebody from the live studio audience to join us and talk about some of these tunes real time today. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Sensei M4 to get somebody up here and hang out and chat a little bit with us today.
It just cost a few subs. I'm kidding. Just ping in chat if you're interested. Our supposed guest, we couldn't reach him today, so we are needing a tiebreaker vote because there's just 4 of us today. So plead your case and we'll add you to the chat and we can get rolling.
I offered to do my best hate mail impression, and that way I could get whatever vote I wanted across, but I was shot down for that.
All right. Windy offered his services.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so now how do we get him in?
He should be able to just join. I think he's got the permissions.
Oh, does he? All right, Windy, you know the drill. Go to the dojo and join the guest recording. And there he is.
All right.
Player 5 is entered.
What's up, Wendy?
How is that?
And you even stole the allies. All right, how appropriate. Am I really super weak? All right, I'll try to yell. All right, would that work? Does that work?
You sound good to me.
Nice.
All right.
Sounds delightful, M4.
Thank you. All right. The burger, take us away.
Okay, so we have, how many people do we have today that we're going to talk about? We have 19 tunes that we're going to talk about today. And so if this is your first time joining in, what it is, we're going to grade everybody either S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, or T, trash tier. We don't have Lute on today to be able to, for those tunes that we do grade them as that, to be able to do his trademark back the truck up. So maybe we'll have Hawkeye jump in and do that if we have any trash tiers come across. But what we do is we all give our grade. Generally, if we don't have them at least L5 and 80, we do not we don't grade them. We also overlay the community's tier list on here, so that way as we have our grades and we add in the community tier list, and then we have our guest on, which today is Wendy Grew, so thanks for joining. Then we take the average of that, and that's where they end up on the tier list. And so first tune that we're going to talk about, probably, honestly, one of the biggest pains in the ass that I've had in a while, and it seems to be a couple months in a row of WB throwing out some really OP monkey-based characters. We're going to talk about Detective Chimp.
Burger.
Sorry to cut you off for 2 reasons.
Yes, sir.
One, we need to talk about the Tune of the Month first. We need to do that. And second, he's not a monkey. He's an ape. So he is probably offended by you calling him a monkey.
Sorry about that to all the animal kingdom out there if I offended anybody.
Okay, they're both simians from what I remember. All right. So
let's do that.
Leading with that. All right.
So let's do Tune of the Month. Almost, you go first.
Tune of the month. It's got to be the detective. Got to be the chimp. He was really good. He made it very easy. Especially in C.
Not playing at all is pretty easy.
Yeah, basically, just do two moves and then sit back and drink a beer.
There you go. What about you, Hawkeye?
Just to be different and to support my guy, I'm going to go with Hawkman. He was instrumental in keeping Chimp under wraps for me with a stun, and then also dealing with Dawnstar. So, for being a green, he handled two of the more problematic blues really, really well.
Yeah, he was going to be my second. It's always nice to see a green that can handle any blue Mystic Affinity, and that was a really awesome rework.
Until they broke him recently.
Oh,
We don't talk
Again.
about that.
What about you, M4? Tune of the month.
I'm gonna have to vote the Chimp.
Okay. And then our special guest, Wendy. What do you say?
I had to agree with my colleagues. It's Detective Chimp by a mile. Hawkman was a very close second because, like you said, he's very tanky. He can hold his off. You can survive versus Dawnstar, but Chimp just solo the teams. You just slot maybe Atro or just use his two, and he goes crazy. It was incredible.
Oh yeah. So I am going to agree with the majority on here. DC Detective Chimp. I mean, just went bonkers. I mean, like I know Hawkeye brought up using Hawkeye to kind of manage him, but I mean he's so fast. If he opened up with his two, and you allowed that other Detective Chimp to get a turn, and he opened up with his two, it was going to be a very, very rough. Like I know we joked about sitting back and drinking a beer. You were absolutely. It was like I was sitting on a toilet, just sitting there, like, oh shit, what's coming out next? What's happening? And I mean that DC. I mean he was going pretty bonkers the whole time. So I think consensus, everybody, we had 4 votes for Detective Chimp and 1 vote for Hawkeye or Hawkman. And so
Hey,
Tune of the month is
Burger,
Detective
before
Chimp.
we get too far, can you clarify your statement? You said you sat on the toilet and wondering what's gonna come next.
So is that not where you siege every month, M4?
Yes, but I know what's coming. What's going out next?
You may need to see a doctor.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like with Detective Chimp, all your siege matches first thing in the morning are like done before you even drop that juice. So he makes it so quick.
There you go. Yeah, it was rough. And the first week, I feel like I played with him a little bit, right? Like I think we all did. Like he was in there, handful of times, but then all of a sudden he started showing up everywhere. You throw him, and then a lot of people started throwing him underneath Atrocitus, and it was really scary. And he gets going, and you don't quite know when it's going to stop, so you just kind of hold on tight. So we have Detective Chimp is who we're talking about first. And so let's get Wendigrew. What do you grade him? S tier, A tier, B, C, or T?
So I saw a lot of people saying he was S tier. I think he's a bit far from that. I think he's an A tier, very solid toon, but like you say, you pick his two and then you go drink a beer, right? But this is a very aggressive meta where first of all, you got an enrage, which is a debuff. So you're already making yourself vulnerable to Trigon. You're starting to get the diseases. Then you can't control where he's going, so he's going to kill someone that you might not want to be dead. Then his build to work properly is very specific because you run Hal Jordan, Brainiac, Steppenwolf, Terra, you run Ultraman, or any transfer toon, or someone that blocks in rage, and he's going to be like just another guy with only 3 abilities because you're blocking his passives. So although very effective, I think this somehow specific setup he needs, although very strong, deserves an A tier ranking easily.
Yeah, and it seems like everybody really agrees on that. I mean, community has it A tier. Me, M4, Hawkeye, almost all have it all have Detective Chimp A tier. M4 almost Hawkeye. You guys have anything else you want to add on Detective Chimp?
Not really. I mean, I'd say he's kind of not No, I have nothing. I got nothing. Windiger explained it perfectly.
I would say that he is borderline S tier, but the out of turn attacks can get you in trouble. That would be the only thing that would really hold him back from being an S tier in my book.
Yeah, that'd be my argument. He's kind of a risk toon, you know.
And the other thing is that you can't. It's very hard to get full use of his kit because once you enrage yourself, you can't use the silence on yourself. So that other where's that other one here? So you can only use one or the other of his passives. So the only time I could get that to work is if you enrage yourself and then you're facing Dawnstar on the other side. No, not even Dawnstar. There's someone else that's
Yara. If Yara hits
Yara. Yes, that's it. Yeah. Yara was the one. So yeah.
Which that happened a few times, and he went bonkers. But yeah, I mean, I agree. One thing I will say, and I said this whenever I first saw his kit, it is really unique, right? Like, it's not very often where you're like, hey, I want my toon to get enraged, and I'm outside of Supergirl and Atrocitus, but where I want him to get enraged, I want him to be silenced. But when that's happening, I mean, it's such a unique kit. It did. I will give WB a little credit on this. It did add a new little kind of flavor to it, to the game for last month. So that was pretty cool. Next up, so let's talk about Skeletor, Dr. Destiny. So up front. For last month, obviously it was the Siege toon, Raid toon that we got last month. Also taking a really big part in, or at least the beginning part of the new Night Terrors comic line that's out from DC. And so let's start off with Hawkeye on this one. So Hawkeye, what's your thoughts on Dr. Destiny?
I've really enjoyed using him so far. I think that he's got a really fun kit. I don't think that, he's going to be meta-defining or meta-changing. But I think that he has a lot of good stuff in his kit. The Purge All Evasions on his 3 really does a lot to fight 2 of the more problematic toons currently in the meta and Dawnstar and Cheshire. And then just the amount of intelligence downs he can throw out, just the way that N's set up is not being split into special offense and special defense. It's kind of a no-brainer for a toon that can put down those kinds of end downs to be a high tier. And I think he's probably very, very high B tier is where I got him.
Okay. Almost. What about you?
Kind of the same thing. High B tier. But to me, always going to be a B tier because he's boring. It's he's got a lot of cool things in his kit. I like the purging evasions. Can't miss on that. But otherwise, players like me, I like to play fast. I don't like having to just go a couple turns. Obviously he works best if there's silence on the other team. Then he can stack up his intelligence ups. But to me, it's just kind of I'd just rather not wait around for him to be able to do that. But he's got a lot of cool stuff in his kit. So it's a B.
Okay. Wendy, what about you?
Pretty much the same thing. I think it's a very cool by WB to use silence again on a gimmick because it's it's not a very good debuff, but seeing someone that relies so much on it allows for, say, Starro, who got kind of forgotten, to also come back to the meta if you want to use him with silence, so he can use his 2 properly. But seeing on paper, my kind of issue is that he's an intelligence-based ramper that gets the intelligence downs and the intelligence ups, and that's a mix of he's half Spectre, half Stitch, and both of them do the job better in my opinion. He got the Purge Evasion, but there are really a lot of tools that can do the same in other ways. He just ups, question, so he's very interesting. I will say that.
Okay. M4.
So what was your vote, Wendy? Is he an A or a B?
B.
Wow, you guys are tough.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, I thought it was an easy A.
Yeah, I agree.
So one, he's fast. He's 121 speed. So that's kind of like the minimum now. 121 minimum for fast. That's going to wipe out a lot of greens already. He hits harder than Yara at equal level because of the modern stats. And then also, I was gonna say it, but TCL Junk already made a comment in the chat that his passive damage is great. So I'm showing it on screen. In case you didn't notice, in raids he was hitting for like 6 million. That passive hit was like great. So in PvP, it's also hits really hard, and he just does it right.
Yeah.
With no retaliation. You can use his buff move and it's still going to happen. So he's really strong. So that, and also that can't miss AoE that purges all evasions. I don't know how that move alone does not warrant an A. You guys are really hard to please.
Yeah, I was gonna say for sure he's absolutely supercharged Yara. I mean, hitting as hard as she does. I mean, out there. Throwing silence, purging evasion, the true damage that he's doing outside of things. Like, he really, really strong toon. And, if it wasn't for, Detective Chimp's, his two, I would have said, I liked Dr. Destiny a lot more. He was really good. I used him almost every single match in Siege as well. Which I barely squeaked into the top 10, if maybe right outside of the top 10. But but he was a really, really strong toon, and I think when we look at the meta that's out there, he's fast, so he can keep up. He could take a hit. He can help you really handle Cheshire and stuff. I mean, throwing out intelligence downs while he's stacking intelligence ups. Causing damage on every single one of his moves. I mean, I think you guys are a little crazy hitting B tier, but
you all sound like hate mail.
I said hi.
So what do we need to do to turn some of these Bs into As?
Time. I still haven't played with him a ton. I'm sure if you guys are saying he's as good as he is, more matches will kind of seal that deal.
Yeah.
I will reserve my right until next month to review and make a further decision.
All right, Burger, it looks like we have a B, but we'll revisit next month.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, Hate Mail put a trash tier out here for him, so...
I could see myself using him again, and I'd be cool with revisiting this next month. He is good.
Next up, so Hawkman. So we had him as one of our reworks. Before this, outside of, he didn't have much going for him outside of being Hawkeye's go-to character, which probably bumped him up a little bit from what he would have been really ranked. But Hawkman, so got to rework, and let's start off with obviously I think we have to start off with Hawkeye. So Hawkeye, what are your thoughts on the Hawkman?
I mean the rework was perfect. I love the fact that every single one of his moves says can't miss. I just wish they'd put it on the passives too, just to completely seal the deal. There's really no room to complain on him. I mean, maybe a speed bump would have been nice, but with the changes they made to his gates, he was fine at his current speed. I thought that there was going to be issues with him being too slow for the meta, but he's just right.
Okay. And so you have him A tier.
Yes, A tier.
And then let's see. So, Wendy, what about you?
So my issue with Hawkman, it's a personal one. That is like, I had L1 shards for most of the month. I had to wait for the raid week and grind a lot to get just L3s, so I couldn't test a full Hawkeye kit. But I was impressed on how much he can tank hits, like having a very blue heavy meta and having like Yara, Dawnstar, Chimp, Destiny on Siege, and just he would be surviving at L3 level 70 like a champ. And then the stun, although it's not working correctly now, a stun that ignores immunity on basic is very strong and that cannot miss. So I think that warrants A tier alone. He's very, very fun to use.
So Windy, is that enough to still keep him at an A, even though he doesn't ignore immunities now?
I mean,
I'm torn on it.
I think the issue is that if you guys rank him B tier for just the stun being not working, and then have to revisit next month when it gets fixed. When we saw that when it worked, that he's warranted A tier. If it's never fixed, then well, he can be demoted, but I think he deserves the A tier vote.
Yeah, but when the tier list comes out, he's in his broken form. That's my concern. People will be wondering what makes him great, and he's not, right?
I mean, he only has issues with debuff immunity, right? Because it's the same gate. If you go against someone with stun immunity, he will stun. That's the deal, I think. And the only guy who's ever only debuff immune is Cruz, unless you face Hal Jordan teams or maybe Terra. But I don't know. I think he's still very strong.
I guess it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, M4, what are your thoughts?
I think they all covered it. So it's a great tank. Can withstand hits from blues. And the most important thing that they added to him is that all of his attacks can't miss, which is really important in the current meta. So you can deal with Monkey Prince, Cheshire, who else is the annoying ones? Dawnstar. So yeah, so I guess that basic that does not ignore immunity is not such a big deal. It's mostly the can't miss and stun that you want. So I'm okay, I guess, keeping him as an A, even if he's bugged.
Yeah, and what about you, Almost?
He's an A, definite A. You know, love that you can hit him once and then just do whatever move, especially his ult, his 3, and then he's just going to hit whoever, you know, with that basic.
Hawkeye is definitely an A.
Yeah, we have an RB5 Hawkman and an RB5 Hawkeye now. Whack, whack, whack.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, A tier, you know, the community has him A tier, so he absolutely ends up A tier this month. So next up, you know, there's a lot of, it seemed like at first there was a lot of fanfare and excitement around Lex Luthor Assault Warsuits. And so I know when the kit was first posted, you know, it seemed like there was some energy and excitement out there that I was seeing. M4, how do you think, you know, it kind of came out once between it being on paper and then him actually showing up in game? How did he show up?
The biggest one is his passive. Everyone thought that, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing. He's gonna apply shields, apply turn meter up, and then he's got this nuclear option. But in practice, none of those are really good because one, you really need to buff him, and typically you want an AoE buff, and not that many good toons do that. And then he's again back to his only job is to use his basic, and then he's not that fast. So, and the worst part is his other good move in the past where you have a can't miss, and then remove all positive immunities. It's no longer can't miss. So it's and the gate is just dumb. It's below 50%, and then everything else is above 50%. So between all those things that I just mentioned, it's really hard to make good use of him. There's so many other better reds. That's why I voted a C for him.
Yeah, and it seems like, you know, all 4 of us voted C. Community has him a C. Wendy, what do you think?
I was very torn on voting C or even trash, but that would be very harsh. I voted C because, like, nuclear option, you have a 50% damage AoE, which is, you see it's nice, but then you can run Connor much faster than 4 turns to do the same. You have Dr. Poison right at the gate that also does the same kind of. Her passive is better done by Black Lightning because it doesn't require you to have a buffing move, which is just trash. Because here's the thing, you get the passive, right? You get the things going, your tools get faster. But Lex gets slower. If Lex gets slower, he will never use his nuclear option, which is the only saving grace from his kit. Then his 3, like Enforced Trash Gate, the basic, although it hits hard, it doesn't bring enough to disable. There are just so many better options that do the same or better than him and faster, which is the issue. He's slow. To do everything he has to do, he's very slow.
Okay. Let's see. And then anybody who almost Hawkeye, any experience you guys have or anything you want to talk about?
I mean, and it's like, why load them up with a kit like this if you're not going to get to use any of it? You know, it's just pointless. It's a waste.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's definitely a letdown.
Yeah. It would have been cool as a passive is if he drops, say, below 50%, then he reduces cooldowns on his moves and let him have access to those sooner. If there's any way to do that, that would have been better.
The other thing too is he should have been getting the turn meter instead of the teammate, because the teammate just took a turn, so the 30% is not going to help much.
Yeah. Yeah. I was close to voting him trash. I would have voted him trash, but at least he can hit and take a hit.
Yeah. I agree. Hawkeye, anything you want to add to him?
Nah, you guys covered it perfectly.
Cool. So he at least hopefully if Lex Assault Warsuit is listening to this podcast, hopefully he can at least take some solace in knowing that he went from trash tier to C tier. So congratulations on moving up.
Such an optimist.
So next up, we have Dawnstar, the Master Tracker. Everybody seems pretty in line except for one. So M4, you said S tier. So what's on your mind about her?
I think everyone knows what she can do, right? She's probably one of the more annoying toons, and it's also not just on defense. On offense, if you just use that basic, she's probably going to survive the rest of the match. And she does a lot of good things. And also supports the meta very well. Get a head start on toons missing, check. Survive, check. AoE give true sight to everyone, check. Evasion downs to help your team deal with the annoying evasion meta, check. And then also she has those out of turn attacks. The only thing she doesn't do very well is do damage. Outside of that, she's amazing. So I don't know what's holding you back from giving her an S tier. And she also looks great. So I don't know what, she's perfect in every way.
I mean,
her posture is terrible.
Maybe.
She's got wings. You give her a break. Come on, man.
Those wings should lift her up more.
Not when you're standing up. Maybe when you're flying.
Part of the reason I left her as an A.
It's really well rounded. I don't, right?
I had her as an S tier before this month. I feel like now that you have solutions now, especially like with Hawkman, Detective Chimp, and Dr. Destiny, it's like you now have a solution to her. Before that there were fewer ones, and you had less options to plan against her. And now you do a little more. But she's great. She's not, in my eyes, just not S anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. She had 2 counters introduced this month with the Hawkman rework and Dr. Destiny. she's not really a problem. Everybody knows about her. She's not going to sneak up on you. You see Dawnstar, you need to plan for her. And I think that's one of the things that for a sneaky defensive toon, that's not what she is anymore. She's a powerhouse, no doubt about it.
You kind of had like a semi counter with Stargirl in Siege, because she could purge that silence off right away.
For sure.
Like the easy full bonus comp was Stargirl, Hawkman, Chimp, and Dawnstar.
One can't miss toon cannot deal with Dawnstar unless it's Connor.
Hawkman did it several times.
Yeah, I mean, I never...
Hawkman did it all Siege for me.
I did not use her at all. I mean, granted, I had Skeletor, so Dr. Destiny running around, which would handle her. I mean, Detective Chimp did a pretty good job. But I wouldn't base it just totally off Siege. But, yeah, I mean, I agree with everybody else. I mean, there's just so many counters to her now that, yes, she goes fast. Yes, her out-of-turn attacks are a little bit of a pain in the ass. Everybody has out-of-turn attacks, seems like now. I mean, I think she's great, and I think A tier is still a really good compliment. Like, you plug her onto any team, she makes almost any team better. I just don't think she's that one toon that can run a match any longer. I think there's a lot of counters and stuff to her, and so that's why I put her A tier. But Wendy, what's your vote?
So I have two votes, actually. If I'm very biased on control toons, I like not trigger retaliations. I like having my toons to be better and just not let the enemy team do anything. So if I have a Dawnstar without her second legendary, she's an S tier to me. Because you get everything without proc retaliation. You get true sight, affinity power ups, evasion downs. But when you have that true damage, I just can never bring her. And she may be dealing damage, but you are not using her. But at least I'm not using her as much as I would want to, because I'm triggering Cheshire, I'm triggering Trigon, I'm triggering Monkey Priest, I'm triggering whoever. And in this meta, at least that move killed my joy for Dawnstar. I think she's like the middle ground between S and A that many toons are. But since I have that stupid legendary, I have to say A tier.
But that invisible purge is so good against Nightwing and to a certain extent Martian Manhunter. So
she did do good at that for sure.
I hate that move. I hate it. Like, I would use her so much more if I didn't deal damage to enemy team.
So I mean, I'll put it like this: like in Siege, she was the last toon I was targeting. I was going after Detective Chimp first. If Skeletor was on the other side, I was going after him. I was going after Hawkman. I was going after Stargirl. All of them first. Like, I could care less if she was on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, spoiler. So she was B on the last time we judged. We went through on the tier list. So let's start off with Almost. So Almost, what's your thoughts on spoiler?
I think her overall kit's still really solid. She's great with teams. I was tempted to go down to C, but I still think she's good. I mean, low B for me. I like how she can target an enemy with, especially if there's like invisibility or there's a counter. She's a good way around that. Yeah, I don't know. She's still good to me.
So, I agree with you. I do love how she could target taunt around people. So I think that's phenomenal, right? Like, we talked about that in the past of like things like Crypto, where Kit didn't make any sense because he was hitting everybody, but he couldn't target who he's doing, so he's just adding taunt on people. So I do love that. The only problem that I kind of have with her kit, it seems like everything's like a percentage based driven. It's like outside of the taunt and outside of the call assist, right? Everything else is like 50%, 75%. And that, it's a little hard to rely on that, on some of those things in this current meta. Like, if you can't get something to go right, things are going to go sideways pretty damn fast. And so that's the only kind of problem I have. But, M4, Hawkeye, Wendy, what are your guys' thoughts?
I do have a few problems with her kit. All right. First one. The 50% third meter goes to a random ally, and that can screw your plans if it goes to the wrong tune. Messing up with turn order sometimes is bad. Oftentimes is bad, especially if you have a plan in mind. And then second, she gains invisibility at the end of her turn. So that means if you don't have Nightwing, Clayface, or whoever can give her invisibility to begin with, you're most likely wanting to use that invisibility to herself first, which kind of like you have to choose if you want to use because this move, the third move is great, but it would have been amazing if you get that double assist, but you need the invisibility. Kind of like missing out on that legendary if you're not using her in the right tunes. But and also, like as pointed out in chat, she's super squishy, old stats. So
Well, the thing I would point out for why she scored lower this siege than she may have in other sieges is there was no taunters. So her literally best thing she has in her kit is putting that taunt around on the AoE, and it had really not any value this month. So I think that definitely hurt her overall.
So Hawkeye, you voted her C, but didn't you take her to RB5?
Yes, I did.
Okay, just checking.
I've taken Stripe RB5. I've taken Firestorm RB5. I take characters I love RB5. It's not always going to be about.
He's a glutton for punishment.
It's not always about who's the best. Sometimes you just like somebody and you want to take them up.
And sometimes they need it. And spoilers, one of them that would probably need it.
There you go.
And I also did it for Costa. Rest in peace.
Did you take her RB5 after Siege?
No, it was as soon as her sale popped up.
Oh, okay. So she's one of two reds and still didn't get a lot of play with a blue heavy siege. So that just tells you something, right?
For sure. Okay. Wendy, what do you... So everybody else, so we have almost with her as a B. Everybody else C so far. Community has her as a B. Wendy, what do you say? You're the deciding... Oh, you could be a tie vote.
No, I go with C. Like M4 said, she has so many chances, like 50% chance on this, 60 on this. The invisibility thing that M4 said, it's problematic because you need to use her with Nightwing. So that already is one less bonus, two less bonuses normally. And like I said before, I value a lot the turn order and having someone to just screw it and make someone that I don't want to go so fast. That can really ruin my planning. So I don't know. I think Riddler is better. Just for what I would bring spoiler, I would just bring Riddler.
Okay. So you have C there. So she is going from B tier to C tier. So next up we have Stargirl. This is honestly, Stargirl is one of my favorite characters in games. I love really almost every single thing about her. Her 60% seems really low. I think she actually hits on her 60%. She actually hits way higher than that. To me, it seems like 90%. The community will start off with your guys' votes. You guys said she's in A tier, which I agree with. I have her as A as well. Almost. What do you think?
I used to have her S tier. No, I never did. No, she's so close to S, but I mean that's just a great kid. That was a great rework when that happened.
For sure.
It's just stealing those strength ups, applying them passively, converting, and the crit immunity too. It makes you not have to roll on say like a KOA, and that passive turn meter up too.
For sure. And the shield. Yeah.
yeah, that's just awesome.
Oh yeah, she's great. M4. What do you think?
So the only thing almost didn't mention is the third meter gain when somebody buffs. She's the primary reason why I didn't bring my RB34 Dawnstar into every match, because she just gains turns and then does something that I don't like. So even at L5, I think her kit is still good, but not quite enough to get her an S rating. So yeah, great kit all around, A.
Oh yeah, and then we have somebody that is a little contrarian with Stargirl. Hawkeye, what are your thoughts? You got her as a B.
She was a B this siege. I think that she's still an A. But for this particular siege, I thought the deck was stacked pretty heavily against her with all of these blues that were just able to wipe her out relatively easily. Every single match that I had any issue with, it was always because Stargirl went down. And again, I think it's more so that the deck was just stacked against her with Chimp and Destiny, and even Dawnstar, was able to get some good hits in on her. So yeah, I mean, I think she probably, staying in A is probably the right call. But for me personally, this siege, she was a B.
You have an RB5 Stargirl, and yet you can't keep her alive.
Yep.
There it is. There it is. Shots fired.
Yeah. So it's just normal day to day. So outside of siege, just because we may have to change your vote on here. So normal. Hey, I'm a PvP. I'm a player right now. I'm looking at tier list. Who should I take up? Who should I rely on?
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye, you would have her as an A.
Yeah, and today's meta, yep. In the siege meta, she was a B for me.
And then Wendy, what about you?
Yeah, she's very solid, best syllable in the game. She controls Hawkman really nicely this siege, with Kevin Candy a lot of times. What I like the most from her this siege was that like we run like Chimp, then use his 3, get the silence, the crit ups, Yara would nuke, and then Stargirl push the silence, so I can use his 2 if needed later, which was a very, very good combo to get the best out of Chimp. So I don't have much to add, just very solid A tier.
So I'll say this: I'm sure we've all at some point this last siege faced Vincent's teams, which are freaking terrifying. And I mean, like, there was nothing scarier. I mean, it happened. I've never. This match is burned into my mind forever. I opened with I thought I was pretty hot shit with my RB4 DC running around, and I hit his DC. Then all of a sudden his Stargirl, purges it, and then his Detective Chimp went bonkers. And so I still wake up screaming at night about Vincent at that match. But I mean, like, she's good, and like you had to plan for her. You had to. So I kind of disagree with Hawkeye's assessment. Like, I had RB2 Skeletor running around, RB4 Detective Chimp, RB4 Yara, and I was absolutely really worried about her getting her 2 off and basically stopping my plan in its tracks, whatever I was going after. And Vincent, if you're listening, I mean, your team was scary as shit, the whole damn siege. And so, but anyway, she ends up staying A tier. Really great toon, really big fan. Stargirl, keep on doing what you're doing. Next up, Yara Floor, Future State Wonder Woman. She was a B tier going into this. She was a siege bonus. We'll only spend a little bit of time on her because it seems like we're all sticking with B tier and remaining there. So M4, you just want to do a quick shout out on her kit and what some big things that stand out.
Yeah, so you bring Yara for the AoE nuke, that you don't rely on a crit. However, she can only do that at high rework. At L5, I don't think she can. Not with the new powerhouse toons that come out. And then in this particular siege, I did it once. And as soon as I did it, I was like, oh crap. I used the turn meter move on Detective Chimp, and I was like, shit. I was like, damn it. It was just so instinctive that, oh, he's about to take a turn, and then like, no. So, yeah, that's all. But outside of the siege, she's still great, but you really want to bring her for the damage, and then there's a lot of better hard-hitting plays than her. So, you want to use her, she's still good, but she's not up there anymore. That's why she's
and take it for what it's worth. Everybody that's listening, in Siege, especially during the bot teams early on, she if depending on the bonus tunes and how you can handle them, like whenever you have Supergirl, you face a team that has like Supergirl lead, Arcus running around, and you want to try to get at these tunes early. Her AOE is one of like my go-to, but again, I'm always a bridesmaid, never really the bride of Siege, right? But take it for what it's worth, like that AOE can go a long way towards quickly handling some of these souped up bots now that are running around. So she definitely does well. I think she has a place. But yeah, I totally agree. Wendy, what just to kind of close her out, what do you have her at?
No, I also have her as a B. Just needs a stat boost.
Cool.
With a stat boost, she will be A tier in my opinion because she's lacking damage because of the old stats. So at the moment, I would say she's a B tier.
Okay. Thanks. So stat boost, our first stat boost tune we're going to talk about. Kaga, so Green Arrow Castaway. Let's start off with Almost. So Almost, what are your thoughts on the stat boost?
Oh man, he made bot teams more annoying.
Absolutely.
That was just I think not the previous month's Siege. That was when he got boosted, right? Yeah, I had him kill my RB4 Parasite. Between him and Huntress, it was kind of maddening. Unfortunately, he's not the force he was for a long time, but he will always be annoying, and the stat boost just kind of brought that annoying factor up.
Yeah, it seems like he's just hitting a little harder, right? Or a lot harder in some cases, but yeah, I mean,
harder
for sure. And for
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. Is he back? But then his problem is it's funny saying this. His problem is still speed. He's fast, but not quite fast enough. Because there's always someone faster with the AOE turn meter down, so you'll never be faster. But yes, on defense with the bots, he's super scary, especially with Flash, because they can get so many turns before you even take yours. But yeah, even with the extra damage, he's still not the best at that AOE turn meter down. You need to use him with an invisible toon, maybe Nightwing to help him out with the extra attacks, but still not quite enough to bump him up. So maybe with a little rework, get him to 129 speed maybe. But right now still not enough. He's better though. He's probably moved up the scale of B to B plus, but not enough.
Offense, I feel like his fourth passive, his quickness, works way less than 20% for me. Way more on defense.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Especially in Siege, right?
Always in Siege.
For sure. And so, Wendy, what's your grade on Kaga?
So I think like Enfor said, he went from like a maybe low B to a flat, maybe high B at best. He's not as fast as he should be, but my issue is that he almost said he has a 20% chance to use his out of turn attack to purge the buffs, but I can just bring Mary personally, and I can guarantee doing that. And I don't know. I don't think he brings enough to this meta. He doesn't have a Cadmus move. He doesn't have enough speed or enough resources to make you bring him up. I don't know. Maybe Nightwing comes, but he was a good stat boost. I'll give that, but maybe he was more in the line for a small rework. Maybe.
Yeah, bump the percentages up on his moves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What would be pretty cool for, say a proposed rework is, say, like that passive with quickness. If he has invisibility, he can use it to knock off evasion ups on the opponent. That'd be pretty cool. Every time
I would pass up on making the bot teams better, almost. Stop giving WB ideas.
I know.
It's hard to know what it is.
I mean, they hate our month, so that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
If only there was somebody on VIP on here that we could blame for making all these bot teams so ridiculous lately.
Oh, I blame him for other things.
No comment.
Or we give you guys too much credit, Hawkeye.
Way too much credit.
Okay, so next up we have Guy Gardner, the crazy one, who, side note, has been cast as Nathan Fillion in the new Superman Legacy movie. So maybe we get a Nathan Fillion skin pretty soon. So he was C tier before stat boosted. So since stat boost, it seems like everybody's pretty in line. So we'll just let Wendy Grew kind of talk through, his thoughts on Guy Gardner, and then do his vote, and then we'll close Guy out pretty quickly.
I'm going to pass on this one. I think all the status coming. I haven't done G0, so I can't give a proper opinion.
I will save us time for the next three. I can save us time for the next three. Stat boosts are a waste of time. They boost the wrong toons, and they do not boost them enough. Very, very, very rarely are they ever going to jump a tier because of just a stat boost.
I mean, if they brought Wonder Girl back up.
Like I said, very, very rarely.
And also Batwoman this month, so...
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, it should be interesting, too, to see what she does. But, so, Guy Gardner, you're saying C tier. So get down there and go to your corner. So the next ones, we got Harley Quinn.
If you don't mind. The one thing that's a B tier quality about Guy is that he can keep a whole Lantern team alive with that damage immunity at turn 0.
Du Bois has proven this to be completely
only
false.
One person does that.
They need it.
Yeah.
He doesn't play anymore.
Du Bois has proven this to be false countless times, almost.
It only prevents the inevitable. How about that? Delays the inevitable is what I meant. It delays the inevitable.
Yeah, but you got
instead of losing on the first turn, he loses on the second or third.
Hey, can you guys clip this and send it to Du Bois for us? Anybody? Just want him to know.
Anybody what?
Somebody clip this and send it to Du Bois for us, just so he knows.
Okay.
So we have him C. So anybody want to talk through? So the next few toons, we have Harley Quinn quite vexing. She was C. We all remained her at C. Anybody want to add any color commentary on that, or just close her out?
I will say it was exciting to see them do something with Harley Quinn quite vexing, because for the longest time everyone's thought that any toon that's a movie toon was dead in the water, so who knows if this means anything, but I'm going to assume that it means something.
I have RB1 shards for Joker damage goods.
It was probably an accident. They probably meant the other Harley Quinn.
That would actually have been great if they boosted Manchester.
Okay, so she's staying C. Jericho, we had him C prior. We all have him C now, so he's staying C. Anything you guys want to say about Jericho before we move on?
Should have been a rework.
He does the same thing as he did before the stat boost, so why change?
Yeah, which is just sit on my roster and never enter a PvP match.
Exactly. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
So next up, Ra's al Ghul, head of the demon.
I'm seeing a pattern here. Like, what the heck? I thought NDA VIP people have no influence over the stat boost. However, like, what the hell's going on here?
Most of us don't.
Is there a certain player that has all of these?
Reverted? Yeah.
Spoiler: Tootie is actually Reeves.
Okay, remember last month where you guys demoted Killer Frost because just to annoy Historic? How about demoting Rage to Trash just to annoy to the throne?
He's not
we can annoy
trash.
him with through other means. I mean, we could just vote honestly, and it'll still be.
You know, actually, because I was using them before the screen, and I'm changing my vote to trash. So there, Rage has got trash in my book,
Trash Al Ghul.
and that's from the bottom of my heart because I could never use them. So there, one team.
You might convince me. You know what? Let's do this. I'm going to change my vote. Almost convinced me. I got a T right there too.
Oh yeah.
So now we're actually. What do you, Wendy? What do you say? No
Trash.
pressure. There we go.
Follow your heart.
The truck up.
Oh yeah.
Anybody got beeping sound effects that we can enter here? Those are pretty impressive. You guys have been practicing. I'm digging it. So next up we have Batman's World's Greatest Detective. This is one that's a little bit mixed bag I'm looking at. So we have a couple of Bs with M4 and almost choosing B tier. Community staying in line with that, seeing B tier. And then Hawkeye and myself going C. So let's do one from each side. So Hawkeye, you represent the C's. Why'd you vote C with World's Greatest Detective?
When was the last time anybody used World's Greatest Detective? His kit just does not have a place in the modern game at all. With disease running rampant, he doesn't purge enough for when he does use his abilities. And then he just speeds you up and makes the disease eat through you faster. He's just not going to be an answer to any of the questions the current meta poses. He doesn't purge enough when he attacks. He doesn't purge enough when he uses his abilities on teammates. It's crazy that 10 debuffs isn't enough, but it really isn't. And then, he has a team leader that really doesn't do enough. And it has no place in the modern game. It doesn't fit in with... it doesn't keep pace with the other leader abilities in the game.
Sure. Okay. So I agree with your C. So let's hear from... M4 changes things. So now almost you are an army of one unless Wendy backs you up. But almost what do you got? You got in B. What's up with that?
Well, I never use him for a leader. I use him for the rest of his kit, and not even with Donna. It's just you just use him for that other toon in your team that you just want to get to first.
Why wouldn't you use Red Robin instead?
Yeah,
Rather use Red Robin or even White Lantern Sinestro for that. I'm not gonna give Hawkeye credit for convincing me to turn him into a C, but yeah, this is endgame list, and
your vote did change after he started talking.
Yeah, Red Robin is better than WGD.
He doesn't have a place in endgame, so
yeah. Wendy, what do you say?
So I was the one who asked Hawkeye to to put him in the tier list discussion because I agree he's a C tier in my opinion. Everything he's doing is better done by someone else. Even his passive, his leadership is Kaga's passive. His thermometer moves are all like they are not bad, but he's 113 speed. You want to accelerate him when you just have Red Robin to do the job better. You have thermometer moves which are better done by others. You have the purge that is done by like you have Monkey Prince, you have the Sun, you have others. He doesn't have a place. The only place where he works is World Engine, which is dead in the water. He needs a rework.
Okay. So, World Greatest Detective, sorry to tell you, you're going down to C tier. So next up, we have Green Lantern Hal Jordan. So he was B. He's just one of the others that we want to talk about, mostly because the meta's kind of shifting, right? And so, again, we have a little bit of divided votes. We have a couple of A's, a couple of B's. The community voted B, and I am in agreement with the community. Almost has him as B as well. So almost, you want to represent the B's. What has he keeping him at B?
You just need him for turn 0, to get through, say, like a Monkey Prince or Disease Comp. Otherwise, after that, it's just, I don't know. You need him at like a high rebirth just to survive if you want to get a 3-star win.
I agree.
Not much going on other than that turn 0 debuff immunity.
Yeah, it'd be nice, like if he had something where he was adding it again. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Now we have a couple of A's on here with Hawkeye and M4. So which one of you guys wants to represent the A crew?
I'm going to let Wendigo do it because I know what he's voting.
I'm just going to say one thing. He's A because he took over Terra's job. And that's a very important job because Monkey Prince is running rampant right now. And he's one of the best, if not the best answer to Monkey Prince. That alone makes him an A for me. So Wendy, you take him. You talk about it more.
So I voted A tier for him because the meta after Terra's downfall has taken a huge loop. He's the only character in the game that can stop any kind of debuff turn 0. So that means Dawnstar silence. You can even stop like steal stun, whatever you think of, he's going to stop it. You have 2 turns to deal with all the annoying meta, which is more than enough because you have the answers. You just don't have the tools to make them work because you get like the rage, the hit chance downs, you have the diseases, and then you have this little guy just doing everything you need. He has a stun, he has a purge, he has shield and a call assist. The only thing that I don't like is the passive, which is worthless, and maybe that he cannot reapply the debuff immunity. But due to the meta and how it's shifting so much to this aggressive evasion and very heavy debuff enemies, that alone makes him A tier. When he gets a stat boost, if he gets a stat boost, that will be pretty much settled because, like almost said, he cannot take many hits at like RB1, RB2, but I think it's an A tier because of meta. Just like Jace will get up there last month, he gets there. You can run Hal, Jace, Question Connor to bring it to name one team and beat pretty much every single Trigon Monkey Prince comp just because that very first turn and you are already covered. Otherwise, if you're running Terra, you gotta go second because then you cannot. Monkey Prince can just jump on you and rage, and you already lost the first turn. Yeah. So that's my take.
I just don't know what meta you guys are talking about. It's the only meta I see is Atrocitus and Stargirl, and they melt Hal Jordan.
And he also counters it because you can use Hal Jordan, Parasite. Hal Jordan, Supergirl, and Alan Scott, and you can tank pretty much every single Atrocitus team in the game because
Supergirl absolutely losing Hal Jordan.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've seen you demonstrate that. That is really cool, Wendy.
So
I feel like you lose Hal Jordan against Supergirl at any time. But it looks like you guys are going to win out because you guys got 3 A's. So, Hal Jordan, congrats. You can sit at the adult table now.
All right.
Okay, so next up, so we have two more toons. And these were just ones we wanted to talk about just because we think there's some changing in their kits that needs to be reevaluated. So we're not changing in their kits, but changing in just the meta and how their kits stack up. So we have first one, Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern. She was B. Community still has her B. All of us voted her C tier. Anybody have any words they want to say about Jessica Cruz?
I like dying passive. That sits here alone.
Yeah, she just her kit's kind of irrelevant right now with the meta.
Yeah, the only thing good about her is the basic.
Yeah,
And it's not even guaranteed, so I'd rather just use Star Sapphire to do that.
Cyclone.
Yep.
Cyclone Hill.
Okay, so Wendy, you concur? You have Jessica Cruz a C.
I do.
Okay, so Jessica, you're dropping down to C here. Last toon that we're going to talk about, John Constantine.
Last and maybe
Hellblazer.
least.
Yeah, John Constantine Hellblazer. So he was B tier prior. We all have him as C tier. So Wendy, you're the last one to vote. So what do you have John Constantine at?
S tier as well. Just like he has a leadership to do something that someone does as a passive, and that passive is still very hurtful for Siege because you don't want to lose anyone, and he does everything when you are dying. And also he counters things that are just not real anymore. Like he has all these overhealed counters that were like better for the Lex meta, but nowadays it's just not enough. You are not going to use him off lead and even less as a leader, so he needs a rework.
Oh, seriously, 100%. The coolest looking kit that used to be OP at one point in the game, and like you're just like, I want to put him in, but you can't.
Wendy, did you ask for these tunes to be talked about?
I did.
I see it now. You're basically setting up this. It all makes sense now. You just want to shit on the boy and come on this. It's all a setup. We couldn't find Doom, and then volunteered so we can all shit on the boys' tunes. Like these are all of the boys' RB5s, right?
I don't know. It was just a coincidence. I mean, we did bump into Hal Jordan.
Yeah, Hal Jordan's up.
Yeah,
Sure, just to take us off the scent, but yeah, I mean, this is way too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence, right? I see you now, Wendy. I see you.
listen.
Sorry, the boys.
So this is cool. Good chat for sure.
Yeah, not enough arguing this month.
Yeah,
Not
sure.
not enough arguing.
Everything is pretty black and white for the most part.
Yeah.
Also, now that I think about it, I also told Hawkeye to put Larfleece, but luckily he got a stat boost, so
Yeah,
he
I saw it.
Yeah.
I know. I was gonna. I noticed it earlier. It's also one of the clues that led me to that conclusion. So good job, Wendy.
Piss off,
Thank
Feldmass.
So you're the new world's greatest detective, M4.
Maybe.
Okay, so everybody, thanks so much for listening to us get together and talk a little bit. I'll push it over. Almost Hawkeye M4. You guys have anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Someone clip this, send this to the boy, make him aware of Wendy's treachery.
That's a really harsh word, treachery.
He can take the revenge on TOL if he managed to win against me.
Almost Hawkeye.
Yeah, I'll say if it's not too late, if it's not too late to sign up for the TOL. This is TOLX, the big one, the 10th one. So
does it used to be Twitter, TOL Twitter, and now it's TOL.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Hey,
Elon
you know
may
what?
not be happy about that
Hey.
branding.
Yeah, I live in San Francisco, and I saw that new sign go up. It is freaking annoying. Someone's gonna like take that sign down.
Well, he's been trying to do this for years. Like whenever he was part of PayPal, he wanted to call it PayPalX.com. So it was just a matter of time.
No,
when he finally
there's
did it.
there's a giant flashing X now on top of the Twitter building that just got put up on Friday. It's the worst thing to happen to the city.
Oh, that's saying
No.
something.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no
I feel
one's
like
happy right
AIDS
now.
has something to say about that, but
Can I promote something then while we're still live?
Yes, you go for it, Wendy. I was gonna say something, but yes.
Yes. So we just opened a new section for this year Oracle. We have the blog brand new. We are going to be posting guides. We are going to be introducing the monthly toons for those like me that don't know the characters. There are very good writers, very good people from the community. Please check it out. We have everything up to date, and now we are adding a lot of community participation. So please go check it out. Historic is doing a wonderful job, and so are doing Mr. Boomstam and Joker, that are the main writers from the blog. So take a look, guys.
Oh yeah, Joker and Boomsam know a shit ton. So yeah, everybody definitely go by and check it out. Great site, ton of good information, really easy to use, navigate. So just massive kudos to the team building that out. And thank you guys for everything you do for the community. So cool. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us today, and hopefully you guys enjoyed getting together with us. And maybe we make this a regular occurrence. So come by live, check us out live in person, and we'll call you guys up and get your guys' opinion on everything as we talk through it. So thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Take it easy, guys.
Hello, everyone. It's yours truly, the AB. Thanks for listening to the show. If you like what you hear, please consider becoming a Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/WROL broadcast. Get the inside scoop with exclusive content and early reviews. How about that hate mail, everyone? The other day, he told me he looked up his family tree and found 3 dogs using it. Huh.